Duke Dennis was talking about, he was like, oh, wow, I don't get curved. He doesn't get curved, or historically hasn't gotten curved, because he doesn't really shoot a shot at a woman that hasn't shown interest at some significant level already. It's a lot of people where if you were to go as a guy, if I only talk to women who have actively already shown interest romantically in me, you would never talk to any woman ever in your entire life. So it's like, that's not really advice that you can apply unless you've already got women giving you energy in your life, which is not common.
I have 100% noticed a lot of people that will say things like, nobody's ever checking for me. And then everybody's like, well, so-and-so was actually checking for you. You just didn't see it. We all saw it.
I feel like if you've got a net of one and you don't like them, that's also like kind of not, you know what I'm saying? Like that's fair. Oh, nobody's checking for me. Bertha was checking for you. I'm like,
Rasputin was checking for you, my nigga.
That's fair.
Exactly. It's like,
that's fair. Oh, you gang, like what you doing?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I know. That's not what I meant by that. Like,
it's a red flag.
I am actually kind of sad that Kaisenet's Mafia-thon 2 ended yesterday. Like that shit was actually pretty fucking good.
What is that for the folks?
He went on a 30-day stream, like just straight 24-hour stream. Like this nigga was just always streaming. It was always something going on for like 30 days straight, trying to break the subscriber record that was held by Deadmau5, which is like a anime. What do you call a VTuber? A virtual like YouTuber or whatever. He had like this rent out this big ass mansion, had this a whole gang of fucking different kind of people just come and like just do shit, just good vibes, crazy energy, just drama, some little bit of drama. But it was every day, like there was some new shit coming from
him. He slept. But people were doing stuff while he slept sometimes. NPC Miles Morales like stayed up the whole night. Yeah.
That was part of our favorite shits about it.
That nigga, and you see fucking Kai in the back like sleep, and this nigga NPC Miles Morales just up front in like the foreground, just still doing this shit.
And was he doing the NPC Miles Morales shit like
literally the entire time? Like he was up all night grinding, like doing that. And like when they would reach
they both got hella subs. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
so when they would reach like a certain amount of subs, like 400. Like the drummer, like they had this dude, office drummer, like another wholesome guy that Kai just found like from the internet or somewhere. And like a nigga with like a literal drum set. And he would just nut the fuck up. Then and just start playing the drums loud as fuck and wake everybody in the room up. Just like all night. So it was just shit like that you just like, for one, how do you think of that? How do you live through that? Like
that work ethic is crazy.
Yeah, insane.
Because I would consider myself a hard worker, you know, on things, but sleep is definitely some shit that I don't play with for the most part. I'm like, I'm going to bed and I'm staying asleep, and then I get up and then I do all my work and then I fucking go to bed. But I'm kind of having inconsistent sleep because I'm kind of lightweight still working while I'm asleep. That's some Marine type shit. So shout out to Kai.
Yeah, you got strict ass boundaries when it comes to that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to bed.
I noticed that when we was in London, for real.
Yeah, one thing about me, I'm going to bed.
I guess it's just how you was raised, you know.
I know. That's just how I was raised.
I was raised to early to bed, early to rise. That's how I was raised. Yeah. One thing about me, I'm going unconscious. Good night. Sleep tight. Anyway, welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag. This is the #1 dating podcast in the universe and Kai Cenat's favorite sleep hygiene podcast. It's your boy Eddie. It's Josh. It's Alvin. What are we trying to get into?
I was going to say draws, but, you know, that's not appropriate.
Hey, look.
Why isn't it?
I stay there.
You got to teach me your methods, King. You know what I'm saying? You just living in the draws.
You know what? So
this nigga finna give you an exit.
Well, you know what? Actually, baby.
So first and foremost, chapter 1, verse motherfucking 1.
Yeah.
Here's how you.
Yeah. My shit is in books like the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Eddie's Nicolations. Verse 15 to I would say the thing that I was thinking about that made me think about though was I think Duke Dennis was talking about, he was like, oh wow, I don't get curved, which I mean you got to take stuff with a grain of salt when someone's just like is a handsome person. Like you always got to take their advice with a grain of salt. But and famous. Once you're famous and handsome, it's like that's none of your advice applies to anything. But he did say that he doesn't get curved or historically hasn't gotten curved because he doesn't really shoot a shot at a woman that hasn't shown interest at some significant level already. So he's not taking long shots. It's like, cool. Oh, I can see that you're feeling me. I'm gonna try. But if I'm like, oh, I gotta apply pressure, blah blah blah, all good. And I feel like that's a good lesson for multiple reasons. Though easier said than done, again, because if you're just a traditionally attractive man, whether that's across physical, mental, clout, whatever, that's not necessarily a playbook that the average person can use. So,
I mean, true, certain things. Like you can get away with certain things, like saying certain shit, or just like walking up to like women just with certain pickup lines. But I mean, I feel like it's because essentially what he's saying is fuck with people who fuck with you. Like go where you celebrate.
So I guess the reason that I say that that's harder to do,
he's just got a bigger
when
net.
you're a bigger what?
A bigger net.
Exactly. And I feel like some people have a net of like 0. Like if it's a lot of people where if you were to go as a guy, if I only talk to women who have actively already shown interest romantically in me, you would never talk to any woman ever in your entire life. So it's like, that's not really advice that you can apply unless you've already got women, giving you energy in your life, which is not common.
Yeah. And I think so in a similar vein, I remember watching, it was a late night TV show interview with Jack Black. And he said something similar, but his take on it was you got to be showing him like heavy signals. So that's kind of, and that's kind of how I saw myself. So it's like, I'm shooting my shot, I'd say most of the time in my life, like you got to like basically like say, hey, I like you kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that most people have a pretty decently wide net if they are attuned to the subtleties of attraction and all that kind of stuff. But I do feel like the way to ensure that you are a high percentage shooter, not a high volume shooter, is waiting until like you consistently have pretty strong messages, like strong, very overt messages. But to your point, Eddie, most people won't be in a situation where they're getting overt messages, I would say.
I don't think, and I think even with the, like, I'm curious because, okay, so I would be curious to understand how you came to that first conclusion around like most people actually do have something of a net if they, kind of come to the intricacies. I feel like if you've got a social network where you're meeting a lot of people, some of whom are, your preferred gender, then I think that starts to become a little bit true. You know what I mean? If you've got a lot of people in your circle that are like whatever you like, then there's a likelihood that at least somebody somewhere in there likes you and is indicating something. But I don't know that it's enough to say that most people, if they know the subtleties, that they've got a few people in their cabal that they can get at. I don't know if that's true.
I would say, and I do want to be very specific that this is very anecdotal for me, and I think it's very anecdotal for all of us. But I have 100% noticed a lot of people that will say things like nobody's ever checking for me. And then everybody's like, well, so-and-so was actually checking for you. You just didn't see it. We all saw it. And I think that happens. I think that happens.
Maybe.
Common enough. I think that happens common enough.
Yeah. The other problem is like, okay, here's the other thing. Like in an example like that, I feel like if you've got a net of 1 and you don't like them, that's also like kind of not, you know what I'm saying? Like that's
fair. No, I think that's fair.
Work. So, nobody's checking for me. Bertha was checking for you. And I'm like, it was whoever's like, okay, I guess.
You, my nigga.
That's fair.
Exactly. It's like,
that's fair. Oh, you gang, like what you doing?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I know. That's not what I meant by that. Like, yeah, there's one person that I'm not interested in checking for me. But if I want to get somebody that I'm compatible with, maybe you have to take especially as a guy, take a more active role of being like, okay, look, I have to go on a date, show my personality, whatever. And then maybe from that, then you'll get the interest that you can then, kind of shoot a more, a cute shot,
Yeah. But one thing I will say though, man, I was watching my 600-pound life and then like just some other like shows where you see like people who might be deemed objectively like, unattractive,
challenged.
challenge,
Yeah.
Cosmetically, I don't want to say that because that's crazy. Never mind. I don't know the PC. I don't know the PC word to say that. But yeah, like, and I'm like, yo, these people be in relationships, long-term ones at that.
Yeah.
And they partner. Sometimes, like, damn, you pull that. Damn,
Be
big
kind of regular to maybe even hot.
Yeah, regular for damn. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, hey, I'll spend a weekend
Well,
with
nicely done.
at bare minimum.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's I'll spend the weekend with it. It's crazy. That's a good one.
It's like I will go to Red Lobster with that person. Like, like
yeah,
it's crazy.
100%.
Wake up, maybe get Waffle House.
Yeah, we could definitely run some errands together for at least a little 3-day weekend.
Tarjay runs,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You trying to get them Swedish meatballs at IKEA? We're not gonna buy no furniture, but you know what I'm saying. It'll be a nice little day.
That's where life happens, man. Life happens in the monotonous.
You really right. Yo, I saw
that was profound as shit. That was profound as shit on the back end. I thought you were saying life happens in IKEA on some like homo type shit.
He laughed too soon. He didn't
I laughed too soon. I didn't hear you out. I understand.
You didn't let him cook. Let him land. Come on. Spirit Airlines over here. No, man, I saw this Twitter post that was like, it was some video, and it was like, that like running errands with like a person is like a form of intimacy to me, is what the tweet said. And I was like, yeah, to me, I love that shit. Yeah, going to Target, going to IKEA, doing some grocery shopping, taking a bitch to the dentist. Like, I love shit like that. It just feels like, that feels like being part of the least glamorous part of somebody's life, which is like, that's kind of what intimacy is. It's like, oh yeah, we are a joined life because I'm doing the nothing parts of your life with you. So yeah, and good combos happen there too. I love that shit.
Oh man, yeah, shoot, whew, man, bro. Like, say for instance, you hanging out with a girl, right? And y'all just randomly decide to take the day off. Take a day off because y'all just don't feel like work that day
because it's a Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. And y'all don't do shit but sleep inside together all fucking day.
Yeah, that
wake up, breath hot, get something. You know what I'm saying? You probably won't even brush your teeth till around 6 p.m. Just like, you know what?
She got that 5 o'clock shadow on her legs. Yep.
Like yes, Lord. Cuffing season. Hello. I'm trying to fall in love. Goddamn it.
Cufflinks, baby. Yes, sir.
Saddle up.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. What do we got here? Having the porn conversation, 2-year affair, porn thing. Sorry, humiliation ritual. Working class people are blowing their checks on sex workers. Denzel was doing heroin.
Denzel was on that crack, bro.
Yeah.
What about let's just go ahead and get started with having the porn talk with kids, with children.
We got the good brother Paul Brunson's podcast. You know what I'm saying?
I thought that was a nigga from The Office at first.
From The Office?
Jim. I forgot his real name.
Jim?
Yeah, Jim from The Office. Oh, no. My fault. I'm thinking about another clip. I'm thinking about the other clip with the adult actress. That's motherfucking holy shit.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I thought Paul, okay, all right. Even more embarrassing. Egg on my face. I thought Paul Brunson was Boris Cujo.
Who is Boris Cujo?
This nigga be in like Tyler Perry movies.
Oh, you know what? Look, that honestly fair. That's that like if no, it's fair. Hold on, because honestly, if you had to cast one to play the other, fair enough, man. You wouldn't. Yeah, if we don't have Boris Cujo, we got some Paul Brunson at home.
Yeah,
100%.
We got Boris at home.
Yeah. Damn, you're right. No offense, Paul. We still trying to have you come on through on the pod. So shout out to you. We fuck with your content. All right, let's see.
Cannot begin talking to your child about sex too early. The very first time your child asks where babies come from, plays with their genitals, the most important thing isn't even what you say as much as how you say it. Answer your child calmly, straightforwardly, honestly. The second thing I say to parents is, when you talk to your child about sex, you must also at the same time talk to your child about. This is much easier to do than most parents think. Because all you have to do is say a version, what I'm about to share with you, and then you dial it up or down depending on the age of the child. So, darling, we've just talked about sex. And you know how together we watch movies and videos and cartoons where things happen that aren't real. Well, there are also movies and videos about sex, and they're not real either. And because of that, they can be quite confusing. So we'd rather wait until you're older, but if you ever come across anything like that, or somebody shows something like that to you, come and talk to us, come and talk to me. I can explain it.
Okay. And just real quick, what are you laughing at?
Because I loved everything she said, but it was just because like that and I honestly, if I have kids and if it come down to it, fuck it. Like even nieces and nephews, I'm gonna use that shit. I gotta save it. I got it saved already, but I just thought about what she was like. You know how like when you watch like movies, cartoons, and shit, and that's not real. And I'm just thinking like from that child's perspective. I said, well, this nigga really had her digging up pussy. So I mean, what you mean that wasn't real?
I mean,
Like,
yeah,
on
it's a
some
little bit
literal
different
shit.
than cartoons. It's a little bit
Also-
because they really are having sex.
I'm sorry. Also, y'all keep calling this man Boris Cujo. I thought this man's name was Kojo. And you spelling it like Cujo like the dog, right?
Is it Boris Kojak? I don't know. Who is this? What is his name?
It's only been Cujo in my line. In
Yeah,
my,
that sounds better to me.
right,
Boris
right.
Cujo. I like
it's
that. That's a good name.
it's
Oh man, that's crazy.
K-O-D.
I had all the wrong letters in that
You
shit,
calling
too.
that?
Look how he's supposed. Look how his name is actually properly spelled. Hold on, because I just wrote this. Didn't look at the fact that no, because see, this is search engine racism because
Boris
Google didn't
Cujo.
bother to say did you mean. They were just like, we know which nigga you meant. Here's
Yeah,
the,
they were like,
the page.
we're
They don't
fully
correct
aware.
because his
How
name
much
is
you look?
Boris Frederick Cecil Tay Nately Ofuate Koju.
Oh,
And he's
okay.
an Austrian-born German actor.
Austrian-born German actor.
Yeah,
See, look,
Albert
that's-
Einstein type shit.
There's a whole lot of lore behind this dude. His
Yeah,
name is
that's
Lisa
crazy. I didn't know he was
Bowers.
doing all this. Damn, he got a good English accent though, a good American accent. Nicely done.
I met him one time before back in college. He used to do like some modeling.
You sure it
shit.
wasn't Paul Brunson?
Oh no, it was Boris.
Okay.
Yeah, he ain't let me model his
How was
line.
he? Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm.
Go tour.
His loss.
I know, right? Shit, I was
Yeah.
gonna hit him with that quarter turn, Magnum steel,
Blue
Nigga
steel,
wasn't ready.
All
yeah.
step change.
Yeah, blue steel. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's fuck. I don't know, because a lot of stuff about porn is real. I don't know, like what's like just being like, oh, it's not real. That seems like oversimplification.
I also think that it's like, I agree with having early age appropriate sex talks with kids because I think that a lot of people, especially like roughly around our age, like I have sisters around our age, and I think that, you know, with children, and I think that a lot of people somehow turn 25 and forget what they were doing when they were children in our rough age
yeah.
range, and like
Yeah.
niggas were fully aware of what sex was mechanically. They didn't necessarily know about the potential life implications, like maybe the potential emotional and psychological things that can happen if you have it before you're
Yeah.
ready, like those kind of things. But mechanically, I know niggas that knew what sex was intricately by around age 8. So I do think that people are
Yeah.
you probably should be starting earlier than you think. But in terms of like making it a one-to-one coupling with the porn conversation, I kind of don't see the point. I kind of feel like if I'm having a conversation with my children, say about death, I don't necessarily need to explain to them what the morgue is and kind of go over here and be like, oh, these are fucking dead bodies. Or even
yeah.
for a less extreme conversation, let's say I'm explaining sports to my kid, right? I don't necessarily need to go and have them watching like Wilt Chamberlain, like 100 point, you know,
I think
like
I
stuff
get what you're saying,
documentaries.
but I would say, okay, here's what I think the value is, and maybe this is maybe already part of your calculation, so maybe it's not an oversight, but to me, the porn conversation is a separate topic to the sex conversation in the same way of talking about porn and talking about sex are separate but important conversations as like grown folks talking about shit, which is how is sex portrayed? How are women portrayed? How do you treat women? What should be happening in the bedroom? How does consent actually work? All of that kind of shit. So porn is like rife with all of these tropes and conventions that are problematic, troublesome, that if you're consuming it regularly, and this is why we talk about the porn brain problem of the internet and all that kind of shit, you go, in real life, don't do that. In real life, this is not how this happens. In real life, don't think that that's how things are going to really happen. A woman might not want this. A man might not want this. And so you have to approach it accordingly. And everybody's watching porn, like a lot of it. So you can't just be like, oh, sex is this way. You have to also say, hey, but this thing about porn that I know you're watching a lot of, don't let that shit influence what you think the world is.
I think so. Yes, I was considering that. I think that you can have, and this is my opinion. Like, I'm not a sex therapist. I've not studied neurology from a specifically sex specific angle, even though I have studied neurology.
You giving therapy.
I will say that I don't think that you need to have a conversation explicitly about porn to have a conversation about what a healthy sex positive relationship looks like. I think that having a conversation about porn makes it a conversation about porn, especially for a child who may not be able to actually see the nuance in the conversation that you're trying to have. So I would have a sex positive conversation. Again, it's early, that's age appropriate. And I think you can level that up as the child.
What's the cost? Because I think that's fair. But what do you think is the cost of also talking about porn? Do you think that distracts from being? I think it does. If we just talk about good sex, that kind of covers the basis. If I go, here's what you do and don't do in the way that you approach sex, that kind of already covers a lot of the porn stuff. So I kind of see what you mean.
Okay,
and that's my point.
Who was the audience for this? Who was the audience for this? Because I'm just imagining, here's how you fuck good to a 5-year-old. Like, because who we talking to?
So, and that's why I think it's important that you, again, and I think the person in the video actually did a really good job of stating that, right? Like, you age it up is the phrase, and I think they did based on the child that you're talking to. So if you're talking to an 8-year-old, you're saying like, oh, when you have sex with somebody, this should be somebody that you care about on some level. It should be something that you agree with, that they agree with. Y'all should have that conversation up front. Like, there are ways to have that conversation without saying,
to be fair, that is how to fuck good to a 5-year-old.
Yeah, man. So which again, I think the candor and the language that you use matters when you're talking to like an 8-year-old versus when you're talking to like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old. So I do think that, again, even though it boils down to the same thing, the way you say stuff matters when you're, again, depending on the age of the child. And you can definitely age that conversation up or down, I feel like, fairly easily.
Yeah. I will say this, just kind of going back to like the video, and I think that was great points, and we're all on the same page here. I guess in terms of actually having that conversation, right, and utilizing the analogy of, hey, you know how we watch stuff on like movies, wrestling, and I have to explain, well, it's not real. Like, things aren't exactly what they seem, and when you and the fact that you're having this conversation so early on, like when they might be first exposed to porn, or like what that is, you might not have to show them, but if you getting into that realm of having like the sex conversation, porn is not going to be far behind, probably.
Yeah.
And using that analogy, I find will be extremely beneficial, because that gives you the opportunity, and like she was saying, you can either dial it up or down to, if you need to go into further context, more detail of why this isn't real. Hey, these are also actors. This actually isn't how sex is going to look like for you, especially across the board. Or how you should actually be having sex, and like how sex initiates. This is not real. Like, this is not real. This is not what this looks like. You might have an instance or two if you get lucky in life, but ultimately,
you might have an initiation, but
right. And then like just developing that trust, no judgment, just speak with an even keel tone with your kid to say, if you come across anything, like if you got questions, let me know and let me see it so I can actually like explain it to you and walk you through it. As uncomfortable as that shit may be, because they might bring Sugar Walls 93 to you. Man, you like, God damn, I ain't seen this one yet. You might fuck around and like, yo, you might have to save that one in the chamber for later. But
that's an old soul.
Might get a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the wild shit about having kids, is that whatever you think whatever innocence you think they got going on, they might be way more into some shit than you realize. So you got to engage with that. But I think, it's it's easier said than done what those conversations look like. And I think that it's easy to, like, we can say yes, hypothetically, theoretically, the same as conversations we've had around comedy. Theoretically, hypothetically, you can age this up or down. Of course, that's super fucking hard to do without it being too much or too little. You know what I'm saying? Because I could definitely see you having this conversation with your 8-year-old, and it's like, well, you're doing way too much, trying to be, you know, nice therapist lady who's like, well, when a boy has a penis, and it's like, oh, you know, you've gone way past where they're at right now. So, because I remember first time my dad showed me porn. Like a porno mag or something like that.
Wow.
And because I had asked about it. Somehow it came up a conversation. I feel like he did a pretty good job. Like, he was pretty straight. He was very proactive and very straightforward, but I think he was also very maybe scientific or like a bit detached. So that worked well. And I don't. Then again, I don't know. Maybe I'm sexually traumatized. I don't know. You have to ask like my
just how you was
partners.
raised, my boy.
That's just how I was raised. So I don't know if this shit worked out properly. But I remember the first time we had a conversation, I was like, porn. What's that? Can I? And this is obviously we didn't have Pornhub and, you know, all the broadband internet and all that shit. So you couldn't. You had to get pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like that porn was pictures that load in a few lines over the course of, you know, 10 or 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's printing the pixels on your screen. But this was even before that. So I was like, oh, can I see? So porn was a book or a fucking VHS tape. Was a physical object in the world. And I was like, can I see some porn? And he was like, look, Playboy, I honestly, and you could tell he was like trying to figure it out. Like, cause, you know, he never done this before. So he never had this conversation before. So he was like, look, I want to be proactive. I want, you know what I'm saying? I want you to know what's going on in the world, but I feel like that'll traumatize you. I feel like you would think pussy is gross at this age. Like, you haven't got towards puberty. You're not gonna think it's weird.
May I ask how old you were?
Yeah.
When this happened?
I was definitely prepubescent. So I had to have been like maybe 9, 10-ish kind of age.
Fair enough.
And I was like, come on, man. And he was like, because my dad is a little bit, so he was like, fuck it, all right, let me show you some shit. And he, you know, fucking put in a code into a safe and unlocked some shit and gave me a magazine. And I was like, yeah, you right, you shouldn't have shown me this. This shit is gross. What is this? This lady, it was a grown ass lady spreading her pussy. I was like, oh, this is crazy. What is this?
This nigga said, oh, this is crazy.
I was like, yeah, you made a miss.
Pops, you wildin', Pops. What are you doing?
Yeah, this is crazy. Why are you looking at this?
Right. You crazy. No, you know what?
Wild. Yeah, why the pages stuck together, dog? Why would you do this?
Bro, like the first time I saw porn, like at the act of fucking, like for real.
Yeah.
Was you and y'all remember, like, they had like them big ass TVs back in the day with the back. Like the big.
You talking about the widescreen rear projection shit?
Yeah, like them big.
The shit looked like this shit looked like it looked like the terminal of a gas station where you get like, it was the size of a gas pump.
Yeah, that shit looked like that shit looked like an old school ATM. Like
first
computer or some shit. Like
grown man shit. I know we got some young listeners. Y'all know the shit about this.
I know, right? Shit, boy, I tell you, old head podcast, nigga.
Here we go. Back in the day.
But so you know, it was on VHS, and my homeboy, I was at my homeboy spot, and he was like, man, bro, I just found some shit, dog. And this is the middle of the day, like, nigga, we was insane. Like, and the parents was home, niggas was home. But for some reason, we was like, yo, we can sneak it in. I just want to show you this real quick. Man, dog, I seen, and it was rough. It was like these niggas was going at it, bro. I'm talking about hard in the vagina, like, just, and I'm like,
right in there.
Who? Like, what the like? That,
and everybody likes this. They regularly enjoy this. This is the main thing motivating people's behavior.
I was like, yo, I don't know if I can do that.
I think the first time I saw porn shit, I don't think my penis had an erection yet. So I don't think I was like, damn, that penis looked totally different than mine. That's not what my shit is like at all. His shit got a wig on it.
The first time I saw it was because we had there was this guy in the neighborhood who was maybe like 5 years older than me. Like all of my friends were older than me at this point. But like His mom didn't live with him, and his dad was literally never home. So this was like the official like fucking hangout house. Like niggas was there. We were playing video games. Folks were smoking. We was gambling and shit. And he had a flick on one day, and it was like ambient music, effectively, right? It was like we was
like
doing regular
porn.
shit. Yeah, it was like there was porn going on in the living room. And we were in like his room playing like SmackDown or some shit. And again, niggas was playing cards. Like it was a vibe. It was
sometimes you tell stories about your life, and I'm just like, this seems like an episode of The Wire or something like that, or like this is like an episode of Top Boy in America. Like it's very interesting. Just porn in the background of a fucking trap house.
That's what happened. But what I was gonna talk about. And I've told the story before, but my favorite instance was my father trying to have the sex talk with me after I had already had sex. It's like the most hilarious shit ever. Because my father wasn't around much when I was younger, and then when he came back into my life, it took us a while for us to rebuild that bridge. I'll skip the nuances of that. And this motherfucker's having this conversation with me like, yeah, man, you know, sometimes, you know, when you really like a girl, and I'm like, motherfucker, like
I've done like, anal, dog.
I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, Pops, what the fuck are we doing, bro? Like, you trying to have a fucking like heart-to-heart conversation. I'm like, bro, you like, you know, you may be 7 years too late on this shit, my guy.
I'm fresh off.
I was like, I didn't have more pussy than you, Pops.
Oh man, how old were you when he tried to have that conversation with you?
Yeah.
Shit, I was dead ass about to be 18 when the nigga had the conversation with me. This was like,
oh wow,
like I was literally almost an adult. And I'm like, we don't have to have this conversation.
But it started
because think about it, he didn't come back around consistently until I was 14, and then, you know, rebuilding all that kind of shit. That was probably the first time he felt comfortable even attempting to have the conversation, trying to be on some real dad type shit. But I'm like, you just miss your one. I'm like, I appreciate
That's so
you.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing as hell. Did you communicate to him like, Pops, like, I appreciate the effort on some father shit, but you're so off center in this, or what you think we are? Did he respond to that? Was he like, oh yeah, it's my fault, I'm new to this, or what was it?
Which is crazy because I mean, I have a fucking older brother. But effectively, yes. I mean, he wasn't really there for my brother growing up, especially. But
I mean, that was
effectively exactly how the conversation went. You know, okay. I'm like, Pops, we're cool. I appreciate you. We also didn't really move at that point in terms of like a father-son kind of dynamic. I think we're more so that now, but I think at that point it was like mentor-mentee kind of shit, right? So, you know, I definitely still, you know, took his word for shit and all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't on some real like father-son type shit at that point. So he definitely was like, oh man, my bad. You know, I ain't mean to make it like awkward. You got it, boss. That kind of shit.
Yeah. He's not an authority in your life. He's a teacher that's taking attention, you know, taking extra interest in you as y'all are building a relationship. That makes sense. Yeah. Damn.
Can we?
All right.
I just thought of like another, like just a segue into like a similar vein. Let's just adolescence and being introduced to like the porn, sex, sex culture type situation. Do y'all remember what age y'all were when y'all were like introduced to condoms? Like when you got your first condom? How did
before I answer that, because I do. I remember I remember a few transitional periods. I think that you've got something, speaking of culture, to tell the folks at home about.
You're right. I absolutely do. By the way, man, you know, happy holidays. You know what I'm saying? Thanksgiving was just like last week. You know what I mean? I hope everybody ate good, even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Happy Indigenous Peoples Day, Happy Friends Day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just happy, just not give a fucking not work day, and Happy Food Day. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's really about. And you know what I'm saying? And you want to be full. You want to be full, merry, and in plenty of good spirits. And let me tell you something that's actually going to get you right there just in time for the holidays for good old December 25th. And that's going to be a good old pack of It's a Red. It's a red flag card game. All right. Get you a deck of these things. It's 52 to 53 phenomenal prompts in here that's going to start some great conversations. So get you so get you a thing of these, or buy someone that you care for, that you love, who love to talk some shit, who love to just talk. A nigga that, just think about the person that will talk your goddamn ear off. Get you a deck of these things right here for that person, for that special person in your life. We've already had some great reviews, some great comments on the game. We've played it tons and tons of times. Go back a year and you will definitely see us playing this game on the podcast, having some very deep, funny, crazy conversations spurned from the prompts that are within this deck. And so, yeah, man, go to www.shop.wavingtheredflag.com, pick you up a deck. I think it's about $25. You know what I'm saying? Not a bad deal. And we'll get that out to you. Shipping to the United States, Canada, and London, maybe a few other areas. Check the site.
UK, yeah. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Happy holidays to y'all. First time. So I will say, when I think this comment with many parents, it was drilled into me early, like way before before sex was a thing. It was like pregnancy and disease was a thing that was in my mind, right? Before I had even had sex.
Yeah.
So I was
That's
already
crazy,
way
right? Yeah,
more.
They scare you before they actually educate you.
Which look, honestly, I think that's the correct move. Like, at least for me personally, I feel like that the way I have moved through my sexual life has been greatly enhanced by the fact that I was worried about safety before I was worried about sex. I think that helps. So when I came in safe sex, it was more about the safe than the sex, which, you know, made the first few encounters like kind of lame and dorky, but like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've seen a lot of people get burned and have their life all fucked up with pregnancy scares and shit like that. And I've largely, you know, veered around that kind of shit. So
blue waffles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we're taking it back to the beginning of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Sumerian type shit. But yeah, no, the first time. So yeah, so I think the first time I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna maybe have sex. Yeah, damn. Because I remember that one, and I don't know where I got them condoms from. Yeah, I don't remember.
No, so you didn't purchase them. Like what? The first time you bought condoms was when you were about to have sex.
I did. Say again.
The first time you bought the condoms was when you was about to have sex. Like when you knew you had it lined up.
I don't think I had pre. Yeah, because I don't think I had pre like tested out the condom. Which, like, if you like that, I think that's pretty smart. But yeah, I don't think I had the wherewithal to be like, let me buy some condoms, put them, get hard, try them on, know how to use them, and then I'll use that. I was just like, all right, well, I'm not that confident, so I'm not gonna waste money. I don't know when sex is gonna happen, so I get it when I need it, you know.
Yeah,
pick it up on the way there.
Oh, okay. Hey, I feel it. Okay, so well, I don't know if you want to get into that. Like, how old were you?
I'm not gonna say exactly when that was, but
okay, all right, fair. All right, so
it might be too young or too old. I don't know what the response.
I mean, shit, it ain't no younger than what these kids is doing now. I guarantee you that. But growing up, I had one of my homeboys, Jamerson, Jay Killer. My homeboy Jay Killer, his mama, she was like, she worked somewhere like in a doctor's office, something like that, like a nurse, something. Can't quite remember, but she had the condoms on deck, and she would always be preaching to us, you know, because we was getting around that age, you know, going through puberty. Hey, if you're gonna be fucking, you better wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, stuff like that. And I remember he was like, man, I was talking to one of my other homeboys, like, man, Jay Killer mama gave me a brown bag of condoms. Oh, what the fuck you gonna do with that?
Use it up.
And lo and behold, like a little bit later, bro, I got a brown bag of condoms from her too, and them shits was filled with Durexes. I'm talking about different colors. One of the two of them bitches might have been flavored. And bro,
that's crazy.
Them Durex days, absolute hell. Okay.
Is Durex considered towards the because I mean y'all know I've been something of a hobo for a significant section of my early sexual career, so I was getting whatever condom was available and free, and I feel like Durex definitely took me through got a lot of mileage.
Yeah, the clinic, you can just pick up. Yeah, they used to give them away
fistful
for sure. But like, it was such a trash condom though. Cause like and mind you, I had the condoms for well over a year before I ever actually had sex. Before I lost my virginity, for real, maybe 2 years, like a long time before, the deed actually happened.
Condoms go bad though.
They do
expire. Yeah,
they do. But by that time, luckily, I was I had bought some more. I replenished the stock.
Some shits be like old rubber bands. You try and use them, 3-4 years in.
But that's the thing.
They'll just break because they'll be brittle.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Did I?
What the fuck? What the fuck? You just have a realization moment on Josh.
He was just using old ass condoms.
This nigga Josh.
He had a memory of reaching into a brown paper bag on the way to it.
Like how? Wait a minute. Like how old were those condoms? Because
those you got lucky.
No, my nigga. Like I bust 12 rounds because I had a girlfriend. I lost my virginity like the way I wanted to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had a girlfriend that was, puppy love and all that shit. And when I tell you one morning before school, I bust 12 rounds in this girl, thinking that condom was still on, pulled out. Boy, that bitch disintegrated. There ain't nothing but a ring on the base of that thing.
Wait, this was the first time?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, I might have had some more, but it was just a running thing with Durexes. Like them shits would break and they was trash.
Yeah, weren't strong enough. Yeah.
That's crazy. Wasn't strong enough. Not strong enough for a 17-year-old.
So I will say,
hey man, it sounds like you did like that. You know what I'm saying?
I know this nigga Josh. Superman,
man. Goddamn.
Yeah,
shit.
I've never had a Durex break.
Bling.
I've never had a Durex.
Yeah, no, me neither.
But I was also not using them 2 years
Josh
old.
Got them
I got my first condoms. So we had, and this is probably dating myself because I don't think they do this anymore. But in APS, they used to have the Grady team leaders used to come through, and you could sign a permission slip in your health class, and they would basically do like an 8-week sex education course for 13 and 14-year-old like students at the middle school level. So they didn't give us condoms. At least I don't recall them doing, but they told us where to get them. So I remember after that course, that Grady team leader course, where they would come in and have those conversations, I went to a Grady clinic and just got like a handful of lifestyles that I just like had available.
Lifestyle and Durex.
Yeah, like like for you it was Durex. For me it was Lifestyle was the similar like cheap condom that you would just like.
We had those too,
yeah. And basically I only had free use condoms for like a long time. Like I didn't buy a box of condoms like at like a pharmacy probably till I was 19, 20. So I was only using like free health clinic, free like college, like, oh, here are the condoms that you use condoms for like a very long time.
Because I was at the clinic getting free condoms and girls' numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like both of those together, so one-stop shopping. And
my nigga.
So I wasn't doing all that. I had a very decent stretch.
Clinic girls are a fun time.
Yeah, I had a very decent stretch where I had condoms and like I wasn't even having sex. Like I didn't have sex for a very long stretch during like sophomore to junior year of like college. And I think after that point, that was when like I've consistently like bought condoms.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I had to start buying condoms after that.
You got traumatized. Like
the banjo
you was
string.
like, you was like, you're not taking no chances.
Nigga, I was stressing, bro. Nigga, could have been a statistic in high school.
Oof, yeah. Damn, you would have had a whole different life, bro. Whole different life. God damn. Yo, did y'all ever just kind of my brain just connected these two things? Did y'all go to the Magic Johnson's theaters much like as kids?
Yes.
Oh wow.
All the time.
Yeah, because I was looking them up, and apparently they still exist, but they're no longer owned by Magic Johnson. They're just owned by AMC. But
they closed them when at Greenbrier.
That's because that was the one that I would go to, and because it would have like these film canister reels, like these big like sort of diorama type things, and like popcorn boxes and shit. And I'm like, it's very iconic, you know.
And I'm like super dating myself here, but I can tell you like exact movies that I saw at fucking Magic Johnson.
Oh, really?
Like I saw ATL, and I remember I remember being so fucking excited when
You saw
ATL came out.
ATL in a Magic Johnson theater.
That doesn't sound right.
They had them back.
time
They
period.
had them in 05.
Yeah, bro. I saw you guys. They had them before. Yeah. So I saw ATL in
Wait,
there, and
wait.
I remember being very excited because a lot of ATL is filmed very near like where I grew up. So like that initial like
Yeah.
that Value Village and shit. Like I was at that Value Village like when like outside of that when they were filming scenes. And like a lot of those houses that they were off of like Metropolitan Parkway, and I grew up on Cleveland Avenue, which intersects into it. So I remember that vividly. But I saw you guys served at fucking Magic Johnson theaters. I saw Chronicles of Narnia at fucking Magic Johnson.
Shit.
Was it that? Did Magic Johnson exist that long into the future? Because for some reason, I feel like Magic Johnson was before that time.
That was
okay.
It was definitely like middle school. I would say middle school, early high school is when I stopped going there. Because then also if you were in the Atlanta area during that time, they had Movies ATL that opened, and Movies ATL was cheaper because you could go and get the $5 tickets there, and they was also like it was a real nigga run operation. It's definitely AMC now, but it was a nigga run operation. So you go buy a $5 ticket, and these niggas would be like, "Oh yeah, man, your movie don't start for an hour. You trying to go pop into another movie while you wait for your movie to start?" And I'd be like, "Hell yeah, nigga, I'm finna go watch the second half of Dark Knight until fucking Transformers 12 or what the fuck come on." Like, hell yeah, nigga. And they was like, "Yeah, you just go something else after that. We ain't gonna check. We don't give a fuck."
Hating yourself. It's just the fact that how in the fuck did Magic Johnson Theater still exist up to this point? Because
that's what I'm saying. He still was going to them until recently, apparently.
Right, because like
the movies I named were like 20 years ago, but yeah.
Dark Knight was Dark Knight 20 years ago?
Maybe well, Dark Knight, like I said, Dark Knight is when we had transitioned to a different movie theater. So that was.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah.
Yeah, but I was just trying to say the Magic Johnson Theater in my hometown, nigga, that shit closed by the time I was in middle school, maybe. And I'm older than the lot of you, so hello.
I don't know. Yeah, Alvin might have had different. Alvin got different access, in the greater metropolitan area. So he got different. He got keys to the city. If you really want to know about it, so he moved different. Y'all want to talk about working class blokes blowing their checks on sex workers or something else?
It's
I'm not
right
attached to it.
I'm not in line, but not attached to it. But I mean, when was the last time we actually had like a dating, relationship, sex conversation? On what this platform was originally built off of.
20 minutes ago?
Yeah, like the very last thing we talked about.
No, nigga, I mean like episodes. Fair. 20 minutes ago. It's about that long ago. Same time as Magic Johnson Theaters was open.
Yeah.
You gotta explain at least offline where you got the connection from Magic Johnson Theaters at anyway. Even though I did enjoy the distraction.
I explained it on. I'll explain it on. I was just thinking about becoming a statistic from unprotected sex, and then I thought of Magic Johnson, and I thought of the theaters. That's all.
This nigga said I thought about unprotected sex and like becoming a statistic, and the poster child of that in your mind is Magic Johnson. Is why
the poster child of that in everybody's mind. What are you talking about? Who else is the poster child?
Wild.
Like, because he was the poster child for AIDS.
Yeah, 3 little letters took him to his final resting place. Yeah.
Well, you can live through anything if Magic made it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean. But okay, next topic. Sheboyah.
Okay. Let's see.
My milk of magnesia.
So much, especially after the pandemic. The ball has shifted. We're no longer just like getting CEO clients. Working class men are hiring top dollar escorts.
Blowing their whole check on it.
YOLO. They're like, fuck this shit.
Is it like a special occasion? They're like, you know what? I'm going to.
Wait, so is this the guy that you thought was the guy from The Office? I can see it. John Krasinski. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, A Quiet Place. Okay.
Don't look like I was looking like, I don't know about that one, buddy.
I don't see it.
And Michael, or is it like.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
You can tell like people like save their money. That's like amazing. That's self-care to such a incredible extreme. Human interaction is so important, and not getting that affects your ability to make money and have like creativity. I mean, if we were actually smart, instead of like Pizza Friday, they'd just like have a hooker come in and like just like blow everybody, because like that's how the company's gonna make more money. Like that's how like let's be honest, like that is how you boost productivity. get everybody off.
I wonder what it would be like if sex workers priced themselves really low. Do you think that would change the social stigma around it if it was
Niggas like,
so
yo, I
accessible?
can't wait to go to work.
Because in countries like Thailand and Japan, it's not just tourists that are doing this. It's very common for men to see sex workers.
I mean, that's a lot of places.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the world. It has more to do with capitalism. Things like seeing prostitutes were only allowed for certain class statuses because those things didn't produce more workers. And then eventually it was just not allowed for anybody because everyone had to be a worker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to watch more? Because I feel like there's some interest. There's more than one interesting point in this. But do we want to watch more of this clip?
I'm good. I mean, do we think we have like the main?
Okay, let's just talk and then we'll play more of it if there is more. But yeah, I feel like the reason sex is like expensive in the West is because women got other options, you know. So I feel like it's gonna be priced high. If you're not gonna work for McDonald's wages selling pussy because you could just work at McDonald's.
True that. And then I mean, hell, you got OnlyFans. You know, you can be your own. You know, you can be your own pussy manager. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can manage your own pussy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just
Yes.
cut the middleman out, keep all the funds, and that's if you have decent at it. You know.
Yeah.
But overall, I guess like the ultimate thing was there's been a boom in men paying for high dollar escorts, not just like women that's on the corner that, you know, you can get like that Dom special from, you know, like the girl that Dom was talking about last week.
Yeah. Two nuts for 100.
Yeah, 2 nuts for 100. Like, and I imagine that's got to be pretty expensive. Like that's gotta.
I'm thinking that's like, because you know what's crazy? I was looking up somebody's price, like a creator that does full service stuff, and it was like, I'll send you the link. She was okay, but I sent you the type form sheet for you to put in an inquiry, get a quote. Crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Send me an Instagram first, goddamn. That bitch gonna start sending me emails and shit. I fucked around and signed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you got a fucking zero invoice. Like, shit, I gotta pay this. But it was something like $4,000 for a day, and it was something like I don't know. It wasn't that crazy. It was like something like $300 for half an hour, which I was like, oh, that's not that crazy. But I feel like I'm not saying that that's necessarily affordable, but that's not crazy, especially if you're like that's, to me, that's not like high end. High end, I'm thinking it's like, okay, I'm spending $5,000 for a few hours with this person.
That's actually what I was thinking.
Look, okay,
that's
my
a splurge,
nigga.
Yeah. It's a birthday situation.
Those are competent lawyer fees. Matter of fact, that is high. Those are competent lawyer prices.
Yeah, lawyers don't suck dick. That'd be more expensive.
What? Oh, that was good. That was good. Lawyers do. I mean, well, some do.
Yeah, exactly. And they cost a lot.
Some will get you off and get you off. You feel me? But damn, $300 for 30 minutes. That's $10 a minute, gang. Wow. Niggas ain't, man.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me?
I mean, think about how much it would cost to get you to suck a dick that you don't want to suck. It's like, yeah, that's about right.
I'm not,
especially if you got other shit to do.
And I also don't think that, like, because I think me and Eddie are on the same page with pricing from this perspective. I don't think we're saying that that's not like a lot of money. I just think that it's, and the way I'm thinking about it is that's in the realm of possibility for somebody who just has like a decent job to like afford that. Yeah. Because the context they were given were like, oh, CEOs are no longer doing this. Like $300 for 30 minutes, and or even $4,000 a day is something that, like, I think, to her point in the video, that's something that a working man could save up and do. Like that's a treat for,
he get access to that.
You know, that's a treat for a year.
That's birthday. You know? That's okay.
Birthday
party. I had a hard time. Yeah.
Indeed.
But it is a lot of money. Like let's call a spade a spade. Like $4,000 is not a lot of money.
I'm just trying to get the clarification of what we're saying. Yeah. Of course, you can save up to do it, but are we talking about monthly, yearly? Because if it's a year, I could absolutely like save up, like, shit, it's my birthday. I spend $500 on some extravagant shit. You know what I'm saying? We ain't just doing no low dollar goddamn prostitution around here. Nah, nigga. This is respectable politics.
We balling out. And
yeah. But if you're doing it, but the implication that she was saying was that no, working class men are taking advantage of this frequently, like blowing the check.
Was that
I
the
don't think
impression?
Frequently.
I don't think it's there. I don't think it's individual men are doing it all the time. I think it's more along the lines of whereas her client base would have been more high dollar from that perspective. Now she has more working class men saving up and doing this, right? So when you have working class men saving up and doing it, that expands your base a little bit. I don't necessarily think that working class men are consistently doing this, right? Because think about what the average American man like makes, right? The average American man honestly can't do this
35K?
consistently. If that, right? Like the average household income is 60K. The average and median household income is around, high 50s, low 60s.
Because we don't know what her price point is, so I feel like we'd have to ask her some of these questions. But I do think that because I wonder, because sometimes I remember Chris Rock's that documentary he did about hair, which I think probably if I look back at it, I think it probably hasn't aged well. But one of the things that was interesting was like how much hair care costs as an expense, even as a percentage of people's income who aren't making a lot of money total. So it's like, fuck, we're talking about $200 a week. Is this expense that you're or way more than that? And it's like, oh, how are you affording this? And I feel like if this is a trend and not just, somebody saying some shit for a clip, if this is a trend, this to me seems like part of the whole inflation, income stagnation convo, because it's like, previously where men were making enough money to maybe buy a house or save up for a car, it's like, well, that's not accessible. So let me just buy some pussy once a month. So fuck it. I can put $500 on that. I can put $600 on that every month to visit my favorite top girl, So I feel like there's something happening there.
I do too, now that you mention it. But I also think that it's interesting the things that were sprinkled in terms of intimacy, because she specifically made it a point. She said post-pandemic,
100%,
which we know put a strain on a lot of people socially, especially people, I would say, older Gen Z, younger millennial, that may have just been coming into what I would consider the world, like as a prime adult, right? Like where you'd be making probably your first real money, like looking to explore a little bit, maybe looking to travel, and then all of that kind of stagnated a bit because the pandemic kind of put a damper on that whole situation. Third spaces closed down and or were shrunken, or changed in a way that I don't think we've completely recovered from. And also what gives credence to that aspect of it was she said that people are so desperate for intimacy. So I also think it goes into this quote unquote male loneliness pandemic, which I think is complicated and nuanced, and we don't need to rehash all the conversations we've had on that. But I do think that it has something to do with this aspect of some of these men are probably paying just to have somebody to like
talk to,
feel a connection with, right? Like I wonder how many of them are
conversation
not
cafe.
Yeah, it's probably sex, maybe. A lot of them. I wouldn't say maybe a lot of them, but I would say some percentage of them are probably not even having sex. They're just like, I want somebody to go out with me and even just give me the semblance of enjoying my company and giving me that connection that I've lost from that perspective. And I think that in conjunction with your inflationary status and like the shifting in economics for men in particular, I think that all boils down to this kind of relating to the overall cultural sentiment of how men are not thriving in the current social climate from an interpersonal relationship perspective. For whatever reason, I think there are reasons.
We want to talk about that stuff more because I'm more and more being like, we have a man problem that we or the government like needs to be addressed. But just going back to this thing specifically, I really like the way that she framed it as like, yeah, no, and I get it. Like she's hawking her wares, you know what I'm saying? She's a saleswoman. 100%. So, she's not going to be like, oh yeah, these gross niggas that are buying my pussy. It's like, okay, fair enough. But framing it as it's self-care. And I feel like that's radical. And it's great that they're doing that. Is to be fair, because I do feel like there's some sex workers who don't brand their pussy well because they're like, they talk frequently with disgust about their clients, which seems like kind of just dumb. But this kind of stance of being like, yeah, no, it's radical self-care, and I really appreciate that they're doing that. You know what I mean? That's good for them to blow their whole check on my services. And low-key, I don't think that she's necessarily wrong either.
Yeah, some individuals, maybe more individuals than we might think, but intimacy, physical intimacy, and just at least having the illusion of you being loved in the areas in which you're not currently getting. You know what I mean? Like, having someone fill those gaps, even if you might have to pay for it every now and then, can be needed and can be very beneficial. Like she said, sometimes your greatest inspiration can come from after busting a nut, maybe a blowjob. I know
Did she say
damn
that?
well.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, remember when she was like, "Oh my God, if he just want everyone to have great ideas, and just everyone want work harder, just get get some
She knows how
prostitutes,
to fucking
blow
sell.
everyone off." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Look, bitch.
she
First
giving
of all,
corporate
I don't
deals.
think that's gonna work. Okay, I'm going to sleep. All right.
Yeah, good night.
And I'll
I'll
see
work
y'all again tomorrow."
Yeah. Now you got to hire an extra cleanup crew to fucking clean the office and wipe everything down.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
And what about the
not a
ladies in
good,
the office?
not a
I
good
mean,
plan.
come on. This isn't
I mean,
the
yeah, you
fucking
can do
50s.
that. You're right. We talking like it's Mad Men. You know what I'm saying? We got to get
Yeah.
a muncher in there to fucking
Yeah.
Taco
Some real
Tuesdays type
eaters.
shit.
This
Some
nigga.
roses. Some lawns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Eddie, why the fuck you just do that, bro?
Everybody loves a good,
That's the cold open right there, bro.
pizza.
Just do
Good
that
Taco
shit and just
Tuesday.
start the
Yeah.
episode. All right, editors know.
Okay.
Just have Eddie saying mama, and then just like fucking open it. Boom.
Oh wow.
It's a red flag.
It's a red flag.
Yo.
All right, let's close this shit out. Look, if you're trying to have if your parent has come to you trying to have a conversation about pornography and you're 8 years old and haven't seen the pussy yet, you might be seeing a red flag. But at the same time, if your economy is making it to where you can't afford anything but paid for intimacy, you might also be seeing a red flag. I'm not gonna put that on y'all's head like that. So yeah, all right. That's been the podcast. It's been Eddie. It's been Josh. It's been Alvin. Join us on Patreon, Spotify, YouTube if you want extra content. If you want to join the Discord, so you can continue to have conversations with us and the other members of the community, kind of at a deeper level. Christmas is coming up. Grab a deck of the cards if you like to, make a little stocking stuffer for your loved ones, and subscribe. Let us know what you think about all the shit that we talked about, pussy and condoms and buying sex and all that good shit. And we'll see y'all next week. That's it. Peace, peace, peace. Munch, munch, munch. Have a good one.
You thought I was feeling you? That nigga munch. He did for lunch.